What's up, guys? On this episode of the podcast, I'd like to try to break down the structure that I use to write and self-publish a book. Let's jump right into it. So I talked in the other video where I discussed the book I wrote about the theme. That definitely helped guide my structure of it. I feel like I actually didn't come up with the theme first. I remember I tried twice to write the book. The first time I was like maybe 22, and I had such high expectations. Like, it was a pretty good plan. It was just really hard to stick to. I wanted it to be like 100 something pages. So I was like, well, if I do 10 pages a day, I'll be done in 10 days. And a lot of the stories were from my own life, so I could just recount them from memory. The first day, I did like 26 pages, and then I couldn't get another sentence out of myself for like weeks. And then I got really discouraged, and I put it down for another like 2 years. But when I came back to it the second time, I think the first time kind of helped because I knew that could happen. So I was trying to be more realistic with my expectations. I actually set a rough deadline for 2 years, and it ended up taking me 9 months, including editing and self-publishing. So I would definitely recommend like kind of overestimating because I feel like it's good for morale as far as your timeline. But by that point, the second time, I had gathered more stories that I wanted to tell, and I started to understand that theme that I talked about. And I think what helped a lot was I created an outline, just like in school when you're required to write an essay, and a lot of times you are required to make an outline and they grade it. So I tried to do the same thing. I had like my thesis statement, which was like my theme, and then you have all of your paragraphs which make a point. So those were all my chapters with different stories, and I really outlined it just like that. And it really gave me a very good structure and kind of North Star to reference back to. A lot of times in my writing, I would write 30 pages. I would write a full story, but then, especially once the book was more written, sometimes I would feel that some of the stories that I had compiled and written didn't fit the narrative I was trying to convey as well as I had hoped. So it was painful, but I would delete a lot of pages and stories that originally I had intended for the book because I really wanted to try and make a cohesive piece of literature, not like kind of sporadic, all around, no focus kind of book. But I tried to do a little bit every day as far as like the day-to-day timeline of writing. I tried to do at least 20 minutes a day, and I remember very vividly going through this process because I was working in Virginia at the time and I was living in Maryland. And if you live in the DC area, you know what I'm talking about, but the commute between Maryland and Virginia is one of the worst in the entire country. It is horrible. So I had a really long commute, probably at least an hour and a half one way. So I was commuting like 2-3+ hours a day. And then after that, I would try to go to the gym. And then after that, I would, before I went to sleep and after I ate dinner, try to get at least 20 minutes of writing in. And I did that every day, Monday through Sunday for 9 months. And even on days that I didn't feel like writing, I didn't feel like I had any inspiration, I tried to write anything, even if I didn't feel like it was good, mostly based off of my first attempt, because I knew if I got out of the habit, there was a high chance that I would just never pick it back up. And I tried not to do too much, also based off of my first experience of burning out and having pretty crazy high expectations. I think it was a lot easier once I had a first full draft done, because then I actually feel like in some ways the editing process was harder. So I went back through and I tweaked a lot of how the story narrative would flow or how my narrator voice sounded. and then I moved a lot of the chapters around. I could kind of then look side by side between the outline that I had made and the potentially final product book that I had made, and go back and forth and make sure that it fit and that I liked what I had. And then that was a couple of months doing that. And then the final part was doing an editing review just for grammar. And then the title and the cover page was pretty easy. I knew what I wanted to use. It was like a photo that I had taken before. I kind of wanted to keep within the theme. I was like, I wrote this book. It would be cool if I could incorporate some other kind of media that I had produced myself. So there's a photo of me doing a headstand off of the highway that connects San Francisco and LA. I forget the name of it, but it's really beautiful, scenic, looking over the coast. And I thought it was a really cool picture. Part of the theme is talking about dichotomy and balance, and I'm upside down. So I thought it was cool. Maybe it's not, but that was my intention. But that was pretty quick. And then, I released it through Amazon. It's incredibly easy to self-publish on Amazon. You don't really need to do anything at all. You just literally Google Amazon self-publishing, go to the webpage, and Amazon will walk you through the process. Super smooth, super easy. You can do digital copies and paperbacks. I didn't go through paperback publishing because I was too lazy. I would have had to change the margin sizes, and I was so tired. I felt so close to the finish line. I just didn't want to put in that extra work, but that option is there. I even considered, before self-publishing, trying to create, I forget what they call it, but you essentially create like a pitch letter and send it out to publishers. I was thinking about trying to get it legitimately published, but then I read a lot of times that publishers will want you to tweak your story quite a bit until they feel like it's something that's sellable. And since my original intention really wasn't financial, I just wanted to be able to tell my story and my theme as authentically as possible. I decided to just self-publish on Amazon. I even dropped the price a lot. It's only 99 cents now because I thought about it. I was like, I didn't ever really set out to make money from this book. I just wanted people to read it, hopefully, and take something out of it. And I really enjoy feedback on it because it is about a lot of the things I've experienced, and I feel like I worked really hard to make it. So it's really rewarding for me when I get feedback. It's actually exponentially more rewarding when I get feedback on the book than when I see that someone's bought it and I know I'm gonna make half a dollar. But hopefully that was a good overview over the systematic approach that I took to writing a book. Definitely feel free to reach out if you have any more questions about something in that category. If you have any thoughts, comment below, reach out to me, Instagram, any of my social media platforms. So hope you guys enjoyed that podcast episode, and I will catch you in the next one.